time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Hello, welcome back to A Boring Revolution, your number one news source for everything in regards to the Boring Company. Hope you're all well. Got a fantastic episode for you today. A couple of news pieces, but the most important thing to talk about is potentially a new master plan for Tesla, which will integrate in some way to the Boring Company. We don't know exactly how that's going to work. I think Elon Musk has been quite coy about how that's going to happen. He has mentioned the Boring Company, so we know it's definitely going to happen. But I'm going to speculate a little bit later on. But first of all, let's just cover the news, because it's been a very, very good month for the Boring Company. We're starting to see a lot of positive developments coming about in regards to projects that have previously been mentioned, have kind of gone quiet, and then have come back, and it looks like they're going to win a couple of projects and finish a couple of projects as well. So all in all, great time to be a supporter of the Boring Company. Bad time to be a hater, because things are starting to go how I anticipate them to go, which is in the right direction. So Elon Musk's master plan part 3. Obviously, he's not finished part 2 yet, but you know, he's getting through the kind of core elements are going through nicely. If you've not already done so, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe, and yeah, you know, follow the video. Okay, so first of all, this is a project I've not really mentioned too much about. The reason I've not mentioned much about it is because the details in regards to, you know, how much it's going to cost, where it's going to go, you know, who's going to pay for it, that kind of thing have been a bit vague. And we know that they've been talking, but we didn't really know too much information. This has kind of come out of the blue for me personally, because I didn't really think much was going on. Yeah, it looks like this project is going into the phase of negotiation. It doesn't look like anyone else is kind of tendering for it, or has shown kind of an intention to build a set of plans. It looks like it's just the Boring Company is in negotiations, and that they're probably going to put forward a proposal that will be built eventually. I'm pretty confident in saying that. So just to read what we've got here, the project is estimated to cost somewhere between 247 and 289 million, quite specific. I think the differences between those two numbers is in regards to how the stations are constructed. If they are going to be underground, it will be the higher figure. But so far, Almo RMA is only agreeing to discuss the projects. There's no kind of agreement that they're going to build something. But there is kind of, well, let's talk about this and see how we can move things forward. Because as you know, times are fairly uncertain at the moment. Once fully approved, the Boring Company could be given the green light to start construction within 12 months and would complete the project in 3 years. The project is planned in 2 phases. The first phase would construct the tunnel from downtown to the Pearl District. Interesting choice. And then they would head on to the airport after that. I would think that they would do the airport first, but hey, there might be good reasons for that. A lot of work has been done on identifying the route, a lot of work has been done on cost, a lot of work has been done on structure, who owns it. So that is an interesting one. This is the bombshell. This is the bombshell that really excited me. Here it is. The Boring Company said it would finance the entire project and turn it over to the Almo RMA once the project has been completed. So that is the direction that I really hoped the Boring Company was going to go on about 3 years ago. And it seems like for this particular project, it's not going to be like this for other projects, but for this particular project, that is what they're exploring doing. And this is the way forward. Because at the end of the day, people are keen to have kind of a working project there ready to go and then pay for it. And all the risk, all the possible delays and the consequences of those delays are forced, all the risk is forced onto the Boring Company. And people like that kind of arrangement. Certainly local authorities do. So that's brilliant news. Hopefully we'll see some plans at some point, and then I can talk about that on a future episode. That was not the only piece of news. We had an announcement that the Resorts World Tunnel, which you know, the tunnelling aspect had been completed. It looks like they're now fitting out the tunnels and connecting the end stations. I've also seen an interesting picture showcasing they might potentially be using a precast concrete road deck on this particular project. So the whole segment is precast and then installed, rather than it being poured in situ, or as in previous projects they've used a tarmac road surface and structure as well. So that again, brilliant news. I'm a little bit skeptical as whether this is going to be open. There's some kind of broadcasting convention on at the conference centre from the I think it's the 24th of April to the 27th of April. I don't think it's going to be ready for that. I think it might be close, but I don't think it'll be ready for that. So we're looking at the beginning of May, maybe the second week of May, for when this project is kind of completed and they're kind of starting to run test vehicles through it and run smaller conventions through it. So that's great. Obviously we're waiting for them to start on the Win Encore Casino project, which is just at the bottom here. You probably can't see my cursor, but it's just the bottom left of the screen where that tunnel will run. Happy days. It would be good to get those two projects completed and then move on to the big boy in Las Vegas. Now, the most important piece of news is that Elon Musk is working on the master plan part 3. Now, when I read this particular tweet, I thought that's excellent. There's going to be lots of interesting stuff in there about the Tesla bot and about AI and about future vehicles that maybe Tesla are going to develop and future gigafactories and things like that. That was my initial kind of thoughts on this. I thought that's great. I'm a shareholder of Tesla. I plan to hold for at least another 2.5, maybe a bit longer years. And I think these are the glory years for Tesla, and that's all great. And obviously that's not something I'm going to mention on this channel. But then we've seen this tweet, and this surprised me. This was a real curveball. Did not think this would ever actually be mentioned. But it says the main Tesla suspects will be scaling to extreme size, so essentially like gigafactories and mining possibly in there as well, and sourcing materials and talent as well, so labour. Which is needed to shift humanity away from fossil fuels and artificial intelligence. I assume artificial intelligence is going to be kind of a main kind of subject matter in that. But this is the key bit. But I will also include sections about SpaceX, Tesla, and the Boring Company. So he's actually mentioned the Boring Company. I have some theories about what this is going to involve. However, again, it's difficult to say. It could be just as simple as they're going to provide some money to help the Boring Company, scale up, and that is going to be it. But it could result in a lot of, individual things happening. Maybe it'll free up some more time. Maybe in this master plan, Elon Musk will kind of establish how he's going to move more of his time away from Tesla and onto SpaceX, the Boring Company, and Neuralink. And that would be quite an interesting development, because I think that if he was spending more time with the Boring Company, potentially the Boring Company would be doing things 10 to 15% faster, just because he's kind of got that impetus to get things done properly, and to put that capital in there to make that happen. Because at the moment it's kind of it's moving forward, but it's not moving forward at 100%. It's more like kind of 80%. So no disrespect to Steve Davis. I think Steve is doing a great job, but having Elon Musk on board is an extra catalyst for them to do things faster and to take more risks, essentially. So what do I think this potentially could result in terms of what he could mention in this potential master plan? It sounds like it might be a sizable document of a few pages, but hey, we'll have to find out. I think the most obvious one is project funding. Now, that San Antonio project potentially will be funded 100% from the Boring Company. The question is, are they going to go to the private sector and kind of borrow money to then build the project, or are they just going to go to Tesla and say, hey, can you lend me $300 million and we'll repay you $40 million per year over a set period of time, plus like 4% interest or something reasonably low. Although most of that would get eaten up by inflation anyway, but that doesn't really matter because it's an Elon Musk company. But yeah, so I think that is the most obvious thing, that it potentially might just be about project funding, because Tesla has billions and billions of dollars in the bank. That's only going to increase exponentially over the next 5 years. They need to use that money. If they can use that money to establish more Boeing Company loops, then that's going to make transport more sustainable, and it's going to feed into their mission statement and also help the Boeing Company expand, at a very fast rate. Potentially, Boeing Company could be growing at 150, 200% per year if it has insane levels of funding from Tesla. It might just be that one thing. It also might involve other things like the sharing of intellectual property, that kind of thing, battery technology, FSD technology, that sort of thing. I think that's possibly quite likely as well. Although then again, it might just be that Tesla develop the vehicles and then sell them on to the Boeing Company for a discount, or sell them, at basically like a 1% loss, or even just a flat, rate. Potentially, again, company merger. I don't like this idea, but I've just got to float the idea there. It potentially could very well happen where the Boeing Company is absorbed into Tesla, and then Elon Musk can then obviously put a lot more time in, and they've got the funding there as well, and the IPs there as well, and it kind of solves those two problems. The reason I don't like that particular idea is I think that if one company is doing a lot of different things, like Tesla's doing at the moment, like energy and cars and FSD and AI and the Tesla bot, you're frying too many fish at the same time. You want each company to have its own kind of mission statement and to be focused on a specific area, and to be a separate entity with its own CEO and its own CFO, and that on its own it would be a more valuable company than if it was absorbed into Tesla, in my opinion. But either way, I mean, it would still work like that. The Boeing Company would still grow and progress. But for people like me, investors, and for kind of actually moving the company forward quicker, it's better if it remains a separate entity, but it has project funding and it shares IP, in my opinion anyway. Put your comments below if you agree or disagree with that. Robo-taxi integration. I think robo-taxis are definitely going to be integrated into the tunnel network. So how they do that, there might be some kind of fee that the Boeing Company applies per mile for Tesla vehicles, and that's kind of the integration there, where they've got their own kind of contract, and that'll definitely help reduce congestion dramatically and also increase the profits of each vehicle, because each robo-taxi vehicle can do 20-30% more journeys per hour if it has access to high-speed tunnels. Another one that I keep mentioning, and it keeps going, the timeline keeps disappearing off into the distance, is the robo-van. The robo-van, or the minivan, or whatever you want to call it, the AEV, autonomous electric vehicle. I think that the Tesla is going to build a 12-seater vehicle specifically for the Boeing Company, which is going to be ultra efficient. It's going to have lots of room for passengers, and it's going to be perfect for running through tunnels. It's going to be the right size, not too small, not too big, comfortable seats. It's going to be easy to get on and get off, level boarding, that kind of thing. So these are all the ideas. We'll find out more when the day happens. I'll do an episode on it, and I'll discuss why I think this is a good thing, or if maybe Elon Musk has made a mistake, but I really much doubt that. But there's a lot of potential things that could happen here. It could just be a merger. I'm kind of hoping that that's not the case. One of the main reasons that I'm hoping that's not the case is because I want to buy shares in the Boeing Company at some point, because I think this is an easy 15-20x company. Now, I think as well that they would work better as an independent company, as I keep saying, with their own CEO, with their own CFO, focused on their own mission, rather than being, in Tesla, which is focusing on way too many things already, and then would be taking on other things, which sometimes a company gets so big that it can't progress as fast as it wants to, because there's too many different things going on. The CEO of Tesla can't focus on 8-9 different things at the same time. He can maybe focus on 4 or 5, but when you keep adding more things, it makes it more complex. It opens up the opportunity of more mistakes being made, and potentially poor strategic decisions that are focused on other areas of the company rather than the boring company. I want someone to focus purely on the boring company, on building tunnels, on building efficient, mass transit systems. So what I want to see in the future is all these companies have IPOs, have their own CEOs, have their own CFOs, and just be their own entities, and then people like me and others who are long-term investors will invest in these companies, because Starlink is going to be a great company to invest in. Hopefully that should happen fairly soon. Then we'd hope for the boring company to maybe do an IPO at the end of 2025. Neuralink, skeptical whether 2026 might be a bit early, but I think maybe 2027 possibly. And then once SpaceX has established that it's sustainable to send materials to and from Mars, and it's established a colony there, and maybe it's bringing things back from Mars that are useful on Earth, then that potentially could go for an IPO. But you wouldn't want to IPO that until it's a sustainable operation, because moving things to and from Mars is going to be a money burner, and potentially shareholders are going to be pretty angry if the company continues to make lots and lots of losses, even if they're doing the right thing for humanity, as it were. Okay, those are my opinions. I hope you enjoyed them. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Please follow me on the following platforms. Consider supporting me on Patreon for just $2 a month, which would be very helpful. Thank you to all my Patreons, as always, doing great work. Thank you for the support. I wouldn't be able to do this without your support, and it's absolutely fantastic. And there we are. That's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about not producing a video last week. Unfortunately, I had to get some emergency dental work done, which is why you need to be careful when you're eating steaks, because things happen. But hey, hope you enjoy your weekend, and take care now, and yeah, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next one, guys. Thank you, and remember, don't be boring. See ya. Goodbye.
Excellent!